All right, let's get right into it. If you're doing any kind of research, you know the absolute pain of building a reference library. Well, today, we're going to conquer that tedious task for good. We are going to walk through how you can completely automate your reference imports into EndNote so you can say goodbye to manually typing citations forever.
So, does this look familiar? That feeling of hunting for the publication year, checking every author's spelling, copying and pasting the journal title, field by field. It's just a slow, frustrating process, and it's so easy to make mistakes. Well, that all ends today. We are going to replace that whole mess with a one-click solution. So here's our game plan. We're going to start with the core concept behind all this automation, something I call the universal import loop. Then we'll see it in action across 3 huge databases. After that, we'll run through a quick quality check that'll save you headaches later on. And finally, we'll see how this all fits into truly mastering your reference library.
To get started, you really only need to understand one single idea. I'm serious. Once you get this, importing from pretty much any academic database out there just clicks. It becomes totally intuitive. This is the key that unlocks everything else.
And here it is, the whole concept in a nutshell. It's just a simple, repeatable loop. First, you're in the database, searching for articles like you always do. Second, you find an export button that gives you a tiny little bridge file. It's usually a .ris or .enw file. And finally, you just open that file. That's it. EndNote does all the heavy lifting, automatically pulling the data into a perfectly formatted reference in your library. Just remember, search, download, open.
Okay, theory is great, but let's see how this universal loop actually plays out in the real world. We're going to walk through Google Scholar, ScienceDirect, and Wiley Online Library, and you'll see just how consistent this process really is. Think of this as our map for the next few minutes. It shows you the exact button you're going to be looking for on each platform. Now, notice how the button name might change a little. It could be import, export, or cite, but the process underneath, it stays exactly the same. First up, Google Scholar. Now, this one's a little bit unique because it needs a one-time settings change. But don't worry, you do this once and you are set forever. It honestly takes about 15 seconds. And the setup itself is incredibly simple. You just click the menu, go into your settings, find the section called Bibliography Manager, and just tell it to show links to import citations into EndNote. Hit save, and boom, you've just permanently upgraded your Google Scholar experience. So with that one little tweak made, the process is now so simple. The export option isn't hidden away anymore. It's right there in your search results, just waiting for you. And here's the payoff. Right under every single search result, you now have this magic link, import into EndNote. You click it, that little bridge file downloads, you open it, and the reference just appears perfectly formatted in your library. It's really that easy. All right, let's jump over to our next example, ScienceDirect. And the great news here, there is absolutely zero setup required. You can start importing from here right now. Once you find an article you want, just look for the export button. When you click it, you'll get a few options. All you need to do is select Export Citation to RIS. See, RIS is a universal format that EndNote reads perfectly. Click that, and your bridge file is on its way. And for our final stop, we have Wiley Online Library. Here, the function is just tucked away under a different name. Instead of export, they call it Cite, which, makes a lot of sense. The pathway here is just as straightforward. On any article page, you click Cite in the Tools menu. That's going to pop open a new window where you'll see Export Citation. Click that, choose EndNote RIS, and you are done. So here's the most important takeaway. It doesn't matter if you started at Google Scholar, ScienceDirect, or Wiley. The end of the process is always the same. You open that tiny file you downloaded, and EndNote performs the magic. It instantly reads the file and pulls the title, authors, journal, all the details into all the right fields. Now that you're an importing machine, there's one last little habit that is going to make a huge difference. Seriously, taking just 10 seconds for a quick quality check right after you import will save you from massive headaches down the road when you're trying to format your bibliography. So here's a really simple checklist. First, just quickly audit for accuracy. Give it a glance. Is the author's name complete? Is the year correct? Second, standardize. Maybe you have a rule where you always write out the full journal name. Just make sure the import matches your style. And third, and this is a big one, sort it immediately. Don't let new references just pile up. Move them into the correct project group right away. Your future self will thank you.
And just like that, you've gone from being a manual data entry clerk to an automated harvester of information. This is probably the single most important skill for building a digital reference library quickly and efficiently.
So if you think about this whole journey, you've just mastered part 2, harvesting references. You can now pull in information effortlessly. So the clear next step in your EndNote journey is part 3, learning how to organize, group, and manage that library that's about to start growing really, really fast. And that really brings us to the end. The power is officially in your hands. You can literally build a reference list for a brand new project in the time it takes you to drink a cup of coffee. So the only question left is, what are you going to build first?